When working with technology, it's not uncommon to try to use a feature, then realize after some troubleshooting, you forgot to enable a feature. In this task, you'll test the Microsoft Sentinel prompt with the Sentinel plugin disabled. We'll then go through the task so that you can get exposure to the information provided in the process log that helps you troubleshoot the issue. So, we're going to go ahead and run a prompt in our prompt bar to summarize an incident from Sentinel. If you can see that we're going to summarize a specific Sentinel incident. We may have seen this in our own Sentinel screen, but we want to summarize this incident ID that's been generated in Sentinel. So if I run this prompt book, you'll see that it begins to process, checks the plugins that I'm using, and then it tells you, uh-oh, I couldn't complete your request. So it asks you to check your plugins and make sure the right ones are turned on. If I expand this out, I'd get any additional details that I might need for that. So what I'll need to do first of all is I'll now need to figure out, okay, well, how do I configure the Sentinel plugin? So in order to do that, I'll go down here to the prompt bar, click on my sources, and from the Manage Sources page, I'm going to hit this No or Show 11 More. And I'm going to scroll down all the way to where you can see Microsoft Sentinel. And you'll notice the Sentinel is not configured. So I'll click Setup. And you'll see, in order for me to leverage Sentinel in Copilot for Security, I need some information. I need a default workspace name, a subscription name, and a resource group name. I'll get that from the Azure portal. So what I want to do is I'll go over here to the Azure portal. In the Azure portal, I'll need to go into the Log Analytics workspace that hosts my Sentinel environment. So I'm opening them up in separate tabs so I can just copy and paste the information back and forth. That way you don't have to worry about typos or anything like that. So I'm going to go here to Log Analytics workspaces. Now it's going to be really easy for me because I only have one Log Analytics workspace. You'd have to make sure that you knew the Log Analytics workspace that Sentinel was using. I'll select that Log Analytics workspace and that'll take me to the overview page for that. What I'll need then is I'll need the same information that my plugin requires from this workspace. So I need the default workspace name. So over here, you'll see the workspace name. And if I hover, I get a little copy to clipboard icon. So I just copy that, come back over to Copilot for Security, and paste it in. Same thing for the subscription name. I'll come over, find my subscription. All right. Hover, get that information, and paste it in. And then the default resource group. Right there. Hover, copy that to clipboard. I always use copy to clipboard. I want to make sure I eliminate the need to correct for typos. Okay. So I'll then click Save. That saves that information. Okay. Now, what I want to make sure then is you'll notice now that the Copilot for the Microsoft Sentinel icon doesn't show up here. It's now here. And a common mistake people make is they don't ensure that this is toggled to on. So always make sure that once you've got this set up, this is toggled to on. So we'll close up our sources. So now that I've enabled the Sentinel plugin, I want to run the same prompt that I tried earlier. All right. Now, you notice the response checks the plugin, processing the request. Now, because the plugin is enabled, it's able to process the request successfully, and I've got a response, I've got a result. Now, what I want to do, once I've successfully executed this, is I want to save this prompt to the pinboard. That way I can get a link to the session so I can share it with someone. So what I can do is click the checkbox here next to the prompt, and what that does is that enables me to save this to a pinboard. All right. I click Save to Pinboard, and now you see I have this nice summary that's available to me. At the top of the page, I have a share icon where I could share this session, I could export this data, but I have all of this nice, neat, tucked away into an effective package that I could share. All right, excellent. So in this exercise, you ran a prompt that requires the Sentinel plugin to be enabled. The first time we ran the prompt, Copilot wasn't able to complete the request. The process log provided the information to help us troubleshoot the issue. When you configured and enabled the plugin, with the plugin enabled, you were able to successfully run the prompt. Thank you so much.